Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Living with XXY. So today I'm here with Kelsey, who is Elliot's mother. Elliot is a 13-year-old boy who was diagnosed with Klinefelter syndrome around the age of 10. And today we're going to be talking about kind of like how they received the diagnosis and how they told Elliot and his response. And we're going to be doing a lot more videos, so please stay tuned to other videos with Kelsey as she answers a lot of the top questions asked by our community. So what was the process in receiving a diagnosis?
So Elliot had a few genetic issues going on. We had worked through genetic hearing loss with him, and so we were in the genetic testing arena anyway. And we were looking into some other issues, and haphazardly came with a diagnosis of Klinefelter's. So not expecting it, not looking for it, but that is what we received.
So when did you start to notice symptoms or delays within Elliot?
Yeah. So as a baby, he was really, really quiet. He was the quietest baby I've ever known. Slept through the night right away. And then about 18 months, I noticed his babbling was a little different. And I worked in the mental health field, specifically with kids with autism. And so I knew what to pay attention for. And so I knew at 18 months, not making consonant vowel sounds was a little red flag. So he started speech therapy at 18 months. And then shortly after that, occupational therapy for some sensory integration concerns.
What was some of the sensory?
So initially it was like not being able to touch sticky stuff. Like shaving cream play was really hard for him. Being dirty or sticky, any sand texture, grass texture initially. And then also he had some oral sensory things like overstuffing his mouth or not eating necessarily the way that other 18-month-olds would.
And then you just carried on with life. Mm-hmm. And were there challenges throughout his life before 10 years old that continued to bring up red flags to you?
Yeah, I mean, and I don't even know that I knew they were red flags. It was just like Elliot. So okay. he was socially different than other kids. He's my oldest, so I didn't know what to compare it to, but I vividly remember being at like a 3-year-old birthday party and all the kids sitting around watching an activity, engaging with each other, and Elliot was on the outside. And it was sad because I felt like he wanted to get in, but he didn't know how. And I didn't know if I should push him or not. And that kind of just continued his whole life.
So being an observer?
Being a quiet observer, but also seemingly wanting to do it. Like wanting to be there, but not knowing how.
Okay.
And then speech continued to be something he struggled with and still struggles with, and OT he has done off and on for 18 months to now.
And so leading up to the diagnosis around 10, what triggered it? And then how was the diagnosis for you?
So again, we were looking in a totally different direction. So it was very surprising, not expecting it. I'd never heard of it. And so I surprisingly felt relief because when talking to the genetic counselor over the phone, she described Elliot, in describing the symptoms and tracking typical Klinefelter's guys, development and speech and social and all those things matched Elliot. So I was like, you got it. You nailed the feeling that I had up until this point with a label that makes sense. So.
And how did what about Elliot's physical feature? Does he have the typical, once you got the diagnosis and you looked it up, does he have a lot of the body type or no?
Yeah, I haven't thought about that before, but yeah, he's always been taller than everybody in his class, tall and skinny. And knowing about the diagnosis, then looking back, it was that makes different kind of sense than I even knew to look for.
And then how was Elliot, how old was Elliot when you told him, and how did you guys tell him?
So we found out when he was 10. and we told him when he was 10, pretty immediately after. Like,
Okay.
and nothing was, I mean, we didn't go into any graphic detail, but we told, I mean, it is what it is. There's nothing to be hiding from him as a 10-year-old. There was nothing to be ashamed of. So he just knew it all right from the moment, essentially, we knew it all.
And how did he take it?
I think, and he's gone through all sorts of emotions. So initially he was just like, yeah, whatever, cool. Like, it didn't change his daily life. He already was who he was. And knowing that there was a label associated with it didn't really change his life. And then he felt, sadness as we would come back. So we always would, I feel like we over talked about it to make it so normal that talking about it wasn't a thing. It was a dinner table conversation. It was appropriate anywhere in any setting to talk about it. And so he got a chance to experience a lot of different feelings.
Okay. So in the next video that we're going to make, we're going to talk more in depth about Elliot and how Elliot has chosen, as parents have given him the opportunity to be open about his diagnosis, to not feel shame or accept it and just be himself. So that's the next topic that we're going to be talking about. So thank you all for watching this video, and we'll talk to you all soon. Bye.